Hey everyone, welcome to today's video and yet again another edition of 25 days of eyeshadow. If you are new here, I am counting down the days until Christmas by trying out different eyeshadow palettes every single day. These palettes may be oldies but goodies, things that I absolutely love, palettes I haven't touched in a really long time, palettes that I didn't like, or palettes or brands that are brand new to me. Today, we are revisiting a palette that I actually didn't like and actually caused a little bit of a stir. In fact, some of my subscribers told me at the time that there were Facebook groups calling me a hater. Some of them even went as far as to nab me as a racist because I didn't like this palette. What I have in front of me is the Mcgrath Midnight Sun palette. Now this is part of her Mothership collection and these palettes go for, wait for it, $125 US dollars. You heard that correct, $125. Now, when I review a product like this, I'm a little bit more hard on it. For $125, this has to have some sort of mind-blowing formulation, just something I've never seen before and just a step above the rest. Now, when I initially reviewed this palette, I just didn't feel that way about it. I didn't think that it did anything outside of the ordinary. It was okay. I was totally disappointed by the swatches. However, I know that swatches don't always indicate how something is gonna blend on the eyes. I decided it's been a while. I thought, why not? Let's go ahead and revisit this palette. The color story is absolutely stunning. To this day, I still believe that this is one of the most beautiful color stories in a palette. The finishes are absolutely beautiful. This shade right here, I mean, look at this glitter. Everything just looks so stunning in the pan, but at the time, like I said, when I reviewed this, I wanna say it was 2 years ago now, actually, I just wasn't totally in love. So let's go ahead and dive in. I'm gonna zoom you guys in and let's see if I've changed my mind about this $125 Mcgrath eyeshadow palette. One thing I do want to say that I like about this palette is that I find that it is actually very easy to use. You only have 3 matte shades in here, but they are literally the shades that you would need to create an entire look, which I think is fantastic and does make it a lot easier to use. So this shade, and this shade. So boop, boop, boop. These are the matte shades in the palette. I'm going to start off with this lighter brown shade right here. I'm going to use my favorite brush. This is my favorite eyeshadow brush right now from IT Cosmetics. This is the Heavenly Luxe number 27 eyeshadow palette. If you have hooded eyes, I'm telling you, this brush is an absolute godsend. So start by going slightly above the crease. While I'm blending this shade out, I do want to thank those that watched my last video on Friday. I want to thank you all so much for the kind words. That video was a long time coming and it was extremely difficult to make. I did go ahead and include it in the 25 days of eyeshadow playlist that I have created. So if you've missed anything or if you want to go back and see some of the other episodes, I'll call it so far, there is a playlist. Obviously, the more we add to it, the more fun it will become because there will be more videos in it. Right now, there's only 2 or 3, I think. I don't know how many days I've done. I missed a day. I missed yesterday, actually. I had some stuff come up, and by the time I got home last night, I was like, oh my gosh, I was so disappointed because I was like, I am gonna stick to this. I'm not gonna miss a single freaking day, and sure enough, shit happened, and that's where we ended up. But I just want to thank everybody for the super kind words that were left on that last video. It meant the world to me. So let's talk about this shade so far that I'm blending out. It does look a little bit patchy in here. Normally, I'd be like, yeah, it's a pretty good shadow. But again, we are looking at something that is $125. There should be zero patchiness. None, none, none. Absolutely not. There should be none. I shouldn't see any discoloration or any of the shadow grabbing anywhere. Needless to say, I do personally find this shade to be a little bit on the patchy side. As far as like the blend and being able to diffuse it like this on the outer edges, it blends out. It does look beautiful. I can make this work, but it is just a little bit patchy. Let's go ahead and deepen things up by going in with this darker shade right here. Now, dark brown shades like this, I find can be very difficult, meaning they can be hard to blend. Sometimes they're not as pigmented as they should be. Yeah, we're just gonna start by putting that down here. on the outer lid, and then I'm going to slowly work it into the crease, keeping it pretty tight. I don't want to fluff out this dark shade too much. Now when I blend this into the lighter shade that we laid down, it kind of helps with that patchiness, and it does start to look quite beautiful. So these two shades together, they just work. Like, they look soft and blended. Nothing looks harsh. It didn't take much. So that actually looks quite good. I just want to build this up a little bit right here. I want to keep that depth. Now that I think about it, I'm trying to build this shade up right here, and I feel like it's almost like moving off of my lid. Like it just wants to blend away. That's really weird. I don't know if that's me or the shadow. Jury's out. All right, let's move on. I think I want to go ahead and move in. What do I want to do? I mean, I really want to dip into the purple. When I did my initial review of this, I did not touch the purple shade. Every time I film, there is just a loud ass car that drives by. A car that like doesn't have like a freaking muffler or something. I'm not kidding. Every time I film, or there's like an airplane that sounds like it's just about to go down. I mean, it's just like so loud right when I start to film, and it really freaking pisses me off. I'm gonna go ahead and go in with this shade now. I'm gonna put that in the center of the lid, and I am gonna use my finger for this. I could make this like the most ridiculously typical neutral look, but I'm not gonna do that. Now I will say the metallic shade, look at that. I barely put anything on my finger, and holy smokes, that is impressive. That's insane, and that's just with my finger. I can only imagine if we put this on with a brush and got it damp, but that's really pretty. It's very intense. Now that I think about it, I didn't go back and watch my other video. I think it was the matte that I wasn't totally impressed with. Now that I think about it, I remember saying that her Bronze Ambition, it was like a 6-pan palette that I had that I absolutely loved. I think I might have decluttered it because it just got old, but I freaking loved that palette, and the matte in that palette blended so freaking good. And I remember feeling like this one just did not compare for whatever reason. Okay, so now I need to decide what I want to do. Do I want to go in with the purple on the inner corners? Do I want to put the purple out here as like an inner corner highlight? Oh, I just don't know, but I really want to use this super glittery shade as well. Gosh, you guys, what do we do? There's too much prettiness here. I'm gonna put the purple on just because I really want to use this purple shade. It's stunning, and I'm gonna put that here and blend that into that other shade we just laid down. I think I should have done this the other way. I should have put the purple in the center of my lid and then put the other shade there. And maybe I'll just bring the purple right up into it and on top of it. Because this purple shade is like the most gorgeous, like periwinkle purple. Let's get that kind of diamondy shade, this like diamond crush. That's what it looks like. I'm gonna put that in the inner corners. Oh yeah, it's so pretty and like twinkly. It does make for a very pretty highlight, but I think I want to dampen my brush just to kind of like ensure that the glitter stays in place. Look at that. So pretty. What do I want to put on the lower lash line? I do not know. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and go in with the brown, the lighter brown shade that we started off with in the crease, and just blend, blend, blend. I'm gonna take some of the darker brown that we put on the outer corner and just kind of focus that out here, just to kind of deepen everything up. And I just made myself look like a panda or something that's been punched. I dragged that way too far down. Sometimes it's just like the confidence I have and like my abilities to do my makeup. Sometimes I'm just like, you suck. Like, you suck. Why do you do this? There are so many other people that are better at makeup than you. Well, I actually feel like that a lot of the time. So it is what it is. I'm gonna blend this out a bit more because this is kind of choppy out here. See what I'm saying though? Like, they're so beautiful. Like when I swatch like this purple shade, like, see what I mean? Like, it's pretty, and it looks so gorgeous in the pan. And when I first put it on, I feel like it looks so good, but I almost feel like it's like fading. I don't know what it is. Here's this bronzy shade. This one is gorgeous. Like, look at that. But still, it's just nothing that like a Super Shock shadow can't give. You know, like, it's pretty. It just, I don't know. I just feel like it just isn't serving, and it isn't giving $125. It's just not. That's just my opinion. All right, I think this is good. I'm gonna go ahead and put on some mascara or whatever, and then I will be back with my final thoughts on everything, even though I just kind of told you what my final thoughts are, but let's see how it all comes together. I'll be right back. All right, you guys, so here is the look completed with lashes. I didn't really put any eyeliner on or anything. I honestly didn't feel like it needed it. I could really make this a bit more sultry and put some black liner in the waterline, but I think it looks good as is. I think my opinion still stands. I just do not think, I'm sorry, I just don't think this is worth $125. I have ColourPop palettes that will give me the same look. I mean, I really do. Super Shock shadows that will really do the same thing. I don't know what it is. It's beautiful. The color story is stunning. This glittery shade is beautiful on the inner corners. There are some beautiful elements to this palette. It's just not worth $125. My opinion still stands. So yeah, I don't think that this palette is worth it. Are some of the other Mothership palettes worth it? Maybe. But again, if I try this one and this is what it gives me, it doesn't really entice me to really want to try any of the others. Do any of you guys own any of these big honcho $125 palettes? I will have to say also that Natasha Denona's formula is way better. I'm just gonna say it, for expensive shadows, they're just as dimensional, they're just as beautiful. The mattes blend even better. There's absolutely no patchiness to them. I would say if you wanna buy a luxury expensive palette, I would go with the Natasha Denona palettes. Hands down, all day over this right here. Packaging is beautiful, but I mean, I can just go on and on about that over and over again, but for me, that's really all I can say. Is it the worst palette I've ever tried? Absolutely not. I have tried shadows and makeup that is way worse than this. But again, I gotta put it up against itself. It's 125 bucks and it's just not worth it. Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think about this. As I asked you before, do any of you own any of these palettes? Did you have the same reaction as me? Did you end up returning it? Did you keep it? Do you love it? I would love to hear your thoughts. If you are enjoying this series, please be sure to hit the thumbs up button. That way I know to continue this series or even to do it next year. As always, comment down below and let me know what palettes you would like to see me review next. I love you guys so freaking much. I hope you had a beautiful week and I will see you in tomorrow's video. Mwah. Bye guys.